Hey, guess what? There's a chess piece that can only move diagonally.
Thanks, Chloe. And yes, you're absolutely right. In this lesson, we're going to be learning about bishops and diagonals. So let's begin with diagonals. Let's take a look at this empty board. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to highlight all the dark squares on the board. As you know, there are 32 dark squares and 32 light squares. So I'm going to be working a little bit and I'm going to highlight each one of the dark squares like that. Okay, that's going pretty fast. Yes. I'm using green color to highlight them. Good, I've done a good job, I think. And this time I'm going to paint all the light squares in red, like that. There you go. Now, bishops move along diagonals. So if you have a dark square bishop, it can only move along dark squares. And if you have a light square bishop, obviously it can only move along light squares. So let's move on. This time I'm going to be painting arrows on the chessboard representing diagonals. That's a long one, here's another, and that's some more, a few more. All right, yeah, that's a lot of diagonals, all right. Now, to be precise, when two squares are connected diagonally like that, you know, one square next to each other, we don't really call it a diagonal, okay? We need at least 3 squares technically to talk about a diagonal. Even a 3 square diagonal, it's not a very common one. We don't normally use them all that much, but you know, technically I guess yes, you can call that a diagonal. What you can definitely not call a diagonal is something like this, because as you can see, it begins with a light square and it ends in a dark square, and obviously that can never be a diagonal in chess. Yeah, but that's pretty obvious. So let's move on. And this time we have 2 bishops, and I'm going to show you all the squares that those bishops can move to. There we go. That was easy. And this time I'm going to show you where we put our bishops at the start of the game. C1 and F1 for white, and F8 and C8 for black. And I'm going to be making some moves now so that you get acquainted with bishop moves. There you go. There's a bishop move. It's black's turn now. And he's going to move his bishop over there. And this time I'm going to move my bishop over here. And now black's going to make a big mistake. He's going to put his bishop over here. And that's a big blunder, because now white can simply take it. And that's how bishops capture. We simply remove the other piece and we put our bishop on that square. Okay, we're ready to take the next step. This time I'm going to be making some bishop moves, but there are kings on the board, so that always makes it interesting. And white's going to make this move with his bishop here, and all those are the squares that the bishop can move to. But it's black's turn now, and look at what happens now. Voila, here we've got a bishop check attacking the king, and not only that, the white rook is behind it on the same diagonal. This is what we call a skewer. It is true that this happens to be a double check because the rook is also attacking the king. So there are 2 black pieces attacking the king. So white's king is forced to move out of the way. Okay, so we're going to move the king over here. And now black is going to take that rook. But in the resulting position, this bishop on e2 can go to g4, deliver a check, and then the rook will be lost. And in the final position is one bishop against another bishop. It's going to be a draw. I know that there are some people out there who notice something interesting about this position. If here black had not taken this rook, and instead of that had played rook to d8 check, removing his rook from c8, then when the king moved out of the way and we took the rook, after bishop check, white is not picking up or winning the black rook. And in the resulting position, black has a huge material advantage, enough to win. All right. Yes. So if you notice that, you know, give yourself a few extra points because that was really good. Okay. But as I said earlier on, it's not particularly important right now. We're only focusing on bishops and diagonals. Okay, so here, this is an interesting position, and this is a little game. I'd like you to find the only two squares on the board which are not being attacked by a bishop, nor are they being occupied by a bishop. Okay, there are only two squares which are neither being attacked by a bishop or occupied by a bishop. So you can stop the video now if you like. It's a little exercise. And here's the answer. I'm going to highlight all the squares those bishops are attacking. And as you can see, there are only left two squares, c1 and h6. So if you found that, well done. Well, I think that's about all you need to know. It is true that bishops are worth approximately 3 points. We'll be talking about piece value later on. Okay, and now I'm going to leave you with a quick lesson recap.